Hi guys, Colton Flood here again. About a week ago, I just got a new locomotive. It's the OO scale, or HO scale if you're in America. Hornby Railroad LNERA 3 class flying Scotsman. And just a few things off the bat. I'm going to run it on the track. And at the end, I'm going to give it an overall rating. And first, let's start with the looks. It's very nice. It's actually quite nice. The livery is a bit dark. The apple green is a bit dark for to be realistic. And I'm just gonna say this right off the bat: if you're someone who's very picky about things like that, this is not the engine for you. I'd recommend one of the better, more expensive A3s. But if you're someone that's not that picky, I'd say it's a good locomotive. But out of the box, it comes with the engine and the tender. It also comes with this little thing. In the comments, please tell me what this is. I have no idea what this is. It's like, I think it's said on the box like something related to the brake thing. You put it under the engine. It also comes with the front brake pipe and a front coupler, which I can't find somewhere on that table. I'm just too lazy to go look for it. And to be honest, me personally, I don't like to put this stuff on. I don't know why, it's just me. But if you do like to put it on, I tried it. It doesn't really need any glue. All you need to do is just stick it on and it stays. And by the way, I think can't really remember, but I believe I have dropped this once and it has not broken. So that's a good sign right there. Handrails, cheap, thin wire, like on the N scale trains and maybe some other things. But again, if you're picky, not the engine for you. If you don't really care that much about things like that, it's pretty good. Lettering looks good. Has detail on the inside of the tender. I'm not really sure if you could see, but it's got the door on the left where the corridor ends. Coal. I think it has a shovel. Then there's the corridor on the other end. Silver buffers. The little hook. The realistic coupling. And the coupling on the back of the tender, it swivels like the American models. So when it goes around curves, it flows better, so to speak. And if your layout you like to base like the 1930s pre-nationalization era, this is the locomotive. Single chimney, round dome. It's very nice at the front. And inside the cab, there's detail. There's no seats for the driver and/or fireman. It did not come with figures, and that's a bit of a downside. But again, I'm one of those people that's not really that picky about things like this, so doesn't really bother me. And it's very nice. Underside, not very detailed, pretty much like any other train. But again, it's cheap. It's one of the cheaper models because that's what the railroad. For those of you who don't know, that's what the Hornby Railroad is for people on a budget, aka me. It cost me in British pounds. It would be, I think it said on the website, £82.99, which for me would be about, I think it was $120. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But those that are, if you're very picky about things, I'd recommend one of the more expensive ones, which I think are closer to $200 in the U.S., but I'm not really sure. And first, we're gonna run this engine on the track, and with light engine with no coaches, and then we're gonna run it with coaches. And just so you for the record, I don't have any Hornby coaches yet. All I have is the Bachman-Thomas coaches for now. And the thing is with this, on the rear pony truck, the rear wheels, there's no flange to grip onto the rails to, which makes it better for curves. But when it does turn a curve, this happens. pony truck sticks out and it looks stupid, but still, nothing can be perfect, I guess. Okay, just let me couple it up here. And then on one of the magazines that I read that viewed it, I think it said the lettering or something was too thick. It doesn't look like it to me, but I'm not that much of an expert, so maybe it is, I don't know. Okay, it's on the rails, and the thing is, this locomotive, it's a smooth runner, it can go fast, but the thing is, when it does go fast, it might derail on the curves, not like fall over entirely, it's just either the front two wheels on the pony, or the entire pony truck, or even the front driving wheel may come off, but it's not that much, it's not that bad. I've run it so many times in the past week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks, and it's never actually come off the rails or fell off the table or anything like that. The worst that's happened, pony truck comes off in the front driving wheel, stick it back on, it's done. And so this, I've come to the conclusion that this locomotive is better for layouts with broader curves, which, as you can see, I do not have. But it's the best I can afford. And here it goes. Again, smooth runner. It's not derailing yet when it comes to that far curve over there. Hi, Dad. Told you. Let me go fix that.
You want to fix that track before you go any further.
Later. Okay, come on. I'll fix it around when it comes to the front. You hear that? That's because the front wheel is still off, and I'll fix it when it comes to the front because, as you can see, rails makes it hard to put back on. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. Hold up. Let me stop it for a second. Now that I've showed you slow, how it is on a slower speed, I'm going to show you on full speed. It's probably going to come off, but
Of course it's going to come off. You got to fix the track.
we'll fix it later. And there it is, full speed.
But you got to fix that track.
I'll fix it. It's not the track, it's the engine.
Track.
No, it's the engine. Oh well. See, it's not that good with curves. It's not good with curves. I'm gonna run around a half. I'm gonna run it around full speed until it gets to that curve, and then I'm gonna slow it down. There we go. I think that's the first time in so long that it has not come off that curve. There's my dog, Mabel. Hi, Miss Mabel. And we're going to bring it to a stop. As you can see, very quiet, nice and smooth. Again, the curves. It's the curves. This locomotive is better suited for more realistic layouts, and two, ones with broader curves, and probably ones that don't have cheap Bachmann track. But that's a story for another day. Now, first we're going to start it with 3 coaches, and then we're going to gradually add on. And again, like I said earlier, all I have is the cheap Bachmann Thomas and Friends coaches for now. And if anyone from Bachmann is listening, I'm disappointed with the quality of the coaches, by the way. And if they do come off the rails, it's not the engine's fault, it's the cheap coaches. So if any of them derail, like just a truck or something, I'll put it back on. It's not the engine's fault. And there it goes with coaches. And I must say, the engine performs better when pulling a train than it does light engine. I don't know why. It usually... See, Whenever I run it with coaches, it almost never derails, but when I run it light engine with no train, it almost always derails, so that's something that confuses me. And here we go. Now I'm not gonna run it at full speed, and we're gonna stop, and now we're gonna add on the other 3 coaches. 2. So if you're thinking about getting this locomotive, 1, you gotta make sure you're not too picky about small detail flaws, and 2, you gotta broaden up the curves on your track. Now, this engine is very strong.